Hello, hello, hello. My name is Amista, and I'm here tonight just to catch up with some old friends, to meet some new friends. We're going to do a little bit of Reiki. We'll do a little bit of tarot. We're just going to have a little bit of fun tonight. Whoops, come back here. Here to have a nice time. This is one of my more recent tarot decks. I want to say it's like from the fairy forest or something like that. It's not exactly the name. All of a sudden, I'm blanking on the name as soon as I wanted to tell you all about it. Has something to do, the enchanted forest. That's what it is. The artwork on this deck is really fantastic. So we've got that deck cleared. That's ready for any readings that happen to come up as we're online. And next, we are going to clear my Lenormand deck that I'm using right now. I like to use this as clarifiers. This can get pretty specific. There are some questions that I like to just go straight to the Lenormand on if I want an answer I know that a Lenormand can give me easier than a tarot deck can. Hello there, Andrew. Welcome, welcome. How are you today? I like your picture. Is that elk? It's a very small picture on my screen, but it looks like nature. All right, let's do 5 minutes of Reiki, and then after the Reiki, we'll do some manifestation advice. After that, we'll do tarot for people in the room. But let's go ahead and get the Reiki started right now for whatever's for your highest and best interest. If there's something more specific you would like the Reiki to focus on, please go ahead and make that adjustment for yourself. And if you have questions about Reiki, this is a great time to ask those. I'm glad to hear that you are doing well. Are you the Andrew that I know that's married to a lady with the first initial of J? Or are you a different Andrew? Boo-ba-dee-doo-doo. Now, the energy for the Reiki is not limited by time or by space. So, the Reiki energy, even if you walk into this video later, the Reiki energy can still help you. You don't have to be here while I'm live to benefit from this. And we definitely have, I noticed a heart chakra at first, really pulling a lot of energy, but there's somebody's, yeah, that's going to be the right shoulder is pulling a lot of energy. So, somebody may have some kind of injury on that right shoulder that's pulling some energy to make it feel better. Okay, you're not the one I'm thinking of then. All right. Where are you watching from, Andrew? Wow, we've got a lot of energy just pulsing through somebody's body out there. I don't know if they're here now or if they'll be here later, but even if you come back later, if you leave a little comment, let me know that was you. That's always appreciated. North Carolina. Oh, that means you have a beautiful accent. I love those accents over there. Back to a lot of energy going into that heart chakra, some energy going into the throat chakra as well for somebody watching. little bit of third eye energy coming in too. We got somebody tuning up their psychic abilities. Woohoo. That's fantastic. That's my favorite when I get to mentor people with their psychic abilities. I do a lot of things, but that's my favorite. So, Andrew, if you're not the Andrew I'm thinking of, is this your first time in the room? One more minute on the Reiki. Yay! Well, double welcome to you then. Eagle Money 28, welcome back. Glad to see you, honey bunny. How are you today? Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks on the subscribe. And now that I'm seeing you're from North Carolina, those are not elks, those are horses. That's horse territory there. I'm in Colorado. We have a lot of pictures of elks and every once in a while a moose and some deer. I'm glad to hear that you are good, my friend. I'm fantastic. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm doing readings and Reiki. My YouTube's going viral. My client base is expanding. My life is good, 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 and getting better all the time. Eagle Money. You're up kind of late. Are you having trouble sleeping? All right, let's wrap up the Reiki. You're usually a night owl, are you? I can be. And then I can also be an early morning person. I used to also always be early morning, but man, that whole midlife thing, that will jack you up. It changes everything, man. I'm through that, but I'm still feeling the effects of it. Let's see here. Best manifestation advice over the next 24 hours for anybody in the room now or who shows up in the room later. What would you like to tell us for manifestation advice, Sacred Spirit? Everybody out here, keep an eye on the cards as I'm shuffling and think to yourself about whatever it is that you would like to manifest. Even if it's something that you know is going to take more than 24 hours to manifest, then this is going to give us steps to move forward towards. Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's see what shows up. La da 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 da. It's a little bit of a glare. That's not as clear as I would like it to be. And I promise you, it makes my fingernails look really dirty, and they are not. I'm noticing those, though, like on the camera, they look horrid. They have a little bit of a shadow. Okay, so what do we have here? We're starting off with the Four of Challenges, which would be, for those of you who know the tarot, that would be your air element. So that would be the Four of Swords in reverse in another deck. So they call it the Four of Challenges here. And then we also have another four. We have the Four of Visions. He's upside down too. Now, I really like him upside down. That's my favorite way to see him. And then we have Starlight upside down. This is another one. Interesting. Interesting. So things are getting a little bit confusing, and that's kind of okay. With the Starlight, you know, we're going to be going with the flow, but let's look at all of these cards for our best advice. First of all, Four of Challenges in this deck, I kind of see it as something a little bit different than I see it as other decks. For me, the Four of Challenges talks about, when it's in reverse like this, talks about bravery, talks about getting out there and doing those things that, you know, maybe are a little bit intimidating, that have us a little bit on edge. I don't know. Can I pull that off? Well, oh, those types of things. This talks about coming basically out from under the shelter of the tree. If this was right side up, you can see there's the tree here. And I generally, like, I psychically just see like a little person just sitting under the tree, chilling, maybe with his hat pulled down, a little piece of grass hanging out of his mouth, and just relaxing, maybe even taking a little nap. But it didn't come up like that. It's not time to relax. It's not time to regroup, take a little nap in the middle of the day. When it's like this, it's time to step away from the shelter of that tree, time to step out and be brave into the world. That's our first bit of advice. Excuse me, still have a little cough from a little bit ago. I was really sick with the flu for like 4 days, and now I just have this cough that doesn't want to let go. I don't think the caffeine in the coffee is helping. Sarah, hello, hello, welcome. All right, let's look at some more advice here. 4 vessels in reverse. Oh, gosh dang it, excuse me. 4 vessels in reverse just talks about the idea that there's something that has been disappointing, but we can't let that slow us down. The 4 of vessels, when it's right side up, you kind of can see when you look at this guy. Total pity party card. Look at the look on his face. He's just all dejected. He's not even paying attention to the birds flying by, trying to tell him, be happy. He could care less. He's just focused on whatever has him upset, aggravated, disappointment, whatever that is. He's having his own little pity party. But we didn't get that. The advice is not to have the pity party. The advice is Spirit is acknowledging something's happened that has been disappointing. Okay. Spirit's also saying, don't let that make you stop. Instead of letting that make you stop, which a lot of people would do, instead, you want to let that come off of your back like water comes off of a duck's back. And you want to look for, okay, well, that was disappointing, but now I can see that there's different opportunities available to me that I wasn't focused on before because I thought this one would be good. Now that I see it's not good, I'm going to focus on one of these other opportunities that's around me so I can move forward. All right? So this is the opposite of a pity party. This is keep on marching, soldier. What's that song? If you're going through hell, don't stop. Not saying that whatever we're going through that was disappointing is hell, but don't let it stop us. Okay? Chanika, hello, hello. We're just doing best manifestation advice for everybody in the room tonight. That's what we're doing at this moment. Now, this last card, the Starlight. And I kind of touched on this already earlier, but Starlight, when it shows up in reverse, says we're not really sure what direction we're going. For me, when we've got the star card right side up, we can use the North Star as our guide, like they used to in the olden days for the ships. They would put their compass on that North Star and figure out where they were and where they needed to go. So for me, the star generally is guidance. We know our sense of direction. We know our sense of purpose, and that helps us make our decisions. But when the Starlight card is in reverse, this says we're not sure where we're going yet. Everything's kind of topsy-turvy. And so this basically says, go with the flow, be fluid, allow Spirit to open a path for you, and don't try to push things to happen. Don't try to make things happen, but allow Spirit to just kind of open the path for you and just follow that path, trusting that Spirit has your back. Okay? So be courageous. Whatever the disappointment was, don't let it slow you down. Look for the new opportunity and just go with the flow on that new opportunity and let Spirit open the right doors and put you in the right direction. Trust that Spirit's going to put you in the right place at the right time, talking to the right people about the right things so that things start just falling into place for you. But don't try to. This is not the time to steer the direction. It's the time to see what Spirit has to unfold in front of us. Okay? It has been a while. I've just started coming back. I'm not regular back yet, but my hope is to start doing that. You know, be in front of people and remind people, hey, I'm here. I do readings. If you have never had a reading with me, I will knock your socks off if you book one. So let's see. How are you doing, Danica? How are you doing, Sarah? Anybody have any questions about this before I pick these cards up? Because these cards are universal. These are for everybody watching the video and everybody who will stumble on it later. I may have to sneak away and get some water here in a minute. Aww. What sign are you, Chanika? Do you know your rising sign or your sun sign or both? Anybody questions on these cards before I pick them up? If you got questions, say so now or forever hold your peace. Peace, peace. Well, if you don't know now, you'll know within 24 hours what this is talking about. That's kind of how those cards work. All right, let's see. Anybody in the room that has either a question for me or that wants a message from Spirit, either type your question in the chat box or if you want a message from Spirit, you can just say that or you can say Spirit in the chat box. If you want to ask a question, I want it to be a specific question, not a really wide open one. I'm not going to sit here and do a whole big drawn out reading for anybody here. So that's why we're doing just specific questions. If you want a whole big drawn out reading, that's when you actually book a private reading with me. Ba 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 ba. Ooh, ooh, Andrew, suck that question back into your mouth, honey. We'll talk about that. We'll do a little coaching around that, okay? Let's see. All right, so Eagle wants a message from Spirit. And I think I remember your name. I think it ends with Alyssa, but I don't know if it has an M in front of it or not. And if I've totally got it wrong, please correct me. Let's see. Because you guys know I like to have first names whenever I connect. Do I have any email addresses here? Nope, good. Let's see. Boo, boo, boo. Chandnika. Do you have a question, Chandnika? Yes. Okay. So once we get down to your question, I'll add you to the list. Andrew. Andrew, we just need to talk about that. What are you manifesting, honey? Andrew, I want to know what you're manifesting. Boop-a-doo-doo. Okay, Sarah, message from Spirit. All right. It does have an M in the front of it. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, Chanika, I need to write a question or some familiar thing of it. Chanika, Akshay. Oof. All right, we're going to ask what your best advice is in your interactions for with Akshay. We want to do something that's an empowering message. All right. Let's see. Chandni. Okay. All right, thank you. Libra Pisces. Ooh, do you read? Do you do fortune telling of some kind? Sarah, I think I've already got you down from the first time. Let's see. Content. You are 9IO. Hello. Oh, Maria. Hello. When will you see David Jenkins? Hmm. Hmm. We're making an assumption there. We're assuming that you're going to see him. I might switch your question up a little bit. I'm not sure. Okay, content, you are 9. I'm just going to write content. And we've got your name there so I remember. Oh, excuse me. Also, I'm seeing a lot of new people here tonight. So, those of you who are new, please know that I don't remember names until they've been around a while, not just a little while, but a while. So if I don't remember you next time you come in the room, please don't be offended by that. It is definitely not personal. That's just how my brain works. When will she see David Jenkins? And actually, I'm gonna just cut that down. When will she see David J? And if you would do me a favor, Maria, if you will delete your comment now, I really don't like to have people's first and last names in the chat, just as a security precaution. I'm a little anal on that type of stuff. Let's see. You don't read, but you do know some healing. I think if you can do healing for yourself, it's very likely that you have some strong intuition. Definitely. I'll tell you, with that Pisces moon, that can make you pretty intuitive. I have a friend who does fortune telling, usually with tarot cards, who is a Libra with a Scorpio moon. And she's pretty good. Of course, it all comes down to practice. I would love to see you get confident enough to help to heal other people around you. You might be surprised how much people appreciate that. All right, so we've got our list going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people so far. Starting off with Eagle, message from Spirit for Miss Melissa. What would you like to say to her today? So for those of you who have not been here when I've done message from spirits before, what I'm doing, or messages from spirit, I guess I should say, this is just to see what sacred spirit wants to talk to you about. This one's going to be for Eagle. And so I don't set the topic. I just let sacred spirit talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. And then I also don't set the time frame. So sometimes they want to give us a different perspective about something that happened in the past, and you'll recognize it if it's from the past. If it's in the present, you'll also recognize it. And we look at what they want to talk about, and we look at what's the best advice or heads up around that particular situation. And then if it's future, then you may not even recognize it. And future will generally happen within 2 weeks because we're going to look at the situation and advice. And it's nice if you can remember the advice. 2 weeks would be a long time, though, in the future. Most people tell me that it happens. Sometimes they say a couple of days after they see me. I've heard as fast as 20 minutes after somebody walked away from me, some of this stuff has happened. So, future is not in the far, far, far distant future. Okay. Yeah, I think that I think everybody needs healing at some time, honey bunny. That's for sure. And so if you can take that skill and transfer it to other people as well as yourself, you know, um, you always have the odd person who's never going to admit that you did something nice for them. But most people really appreciate it if they're open to energetic type of stuff, at least. So always get their permission before you do something like that. And then if you've got their permission, then I would say go for it. All right, Eagle, I think we're ready to pull your message. Boo-ba-da-doo-doo. All right. So guys, I offer mentoring sessions. If you want to learn how to read the tarot cards, I offer tarot classes. To find out about all the different stuff I do, of course, check out my website. While you're there, sign up for my newsletter. You won't be sorry. We have fun in the newsletter. You've got the whole soap opera of whatever's going on in my brain, plus you get predictions for every sign every week. And you get first notice about any classes or workshops or whatever coming up. Okay, so Eagle, your cover card, or yeah, your main card actually, is your Ten of Visions showing up in reverse. Hang on a second. I felt that one coming on in time, not to cough in your ear. So, Ten of Visions showing up in reverse. This talks about that you're upgrading your happiness here. This talks about I'm feeling like I could be happier, and I'm working to actively do that. Now, what's covering this is the Six of Boons. Well, the Six of Boons talks about an even give and take. And I really like the artwork on this deck. You can see they're sleeping in the cold and they're kind of sharing body heat. Everybody is benefiting. The rabbits are benefiting from her sleeping with them. They're benefiting, and they are benefiting her by snuggling up to her, sharing body heat in the cold. So this is a nice even energy exchange that we have that's crossing your upgrading your level of happiness. So this just basically tells me that you're trying to do things that are more even as far as energy exchange. You're not trying to be doing the most while somebody else does the least. You may have noticed that maybe you're feeling a little bit like you're doing, you're codependent and you're just doing more and more and more, and you're trying to back off. You would like to be around people who can be, on more of an equal playing field with you and who are cool with giving back when you give to them. Whether that's your time, your energy, your effort, whatever that is, even your money. If you're the one pouring out all of yourself and your energy into something and somebody else isn't giving it back, of course that's not happiness making. So you want to make things more even. Now, looking at your best advice around this situation. Six of Spells in reverse, the Forge, ooh, and the Seeker of Boons. Huh. Here's the thing. Whoever this is that you've been doing a lot for, they don't really appreciate the things that you've been doing. So no wonder there's not an even energy exchange, because they're not even going, oh, well, Melissa's really doing some nice stuff for me. They're not even acknowledging that. So they're not thinking, oh, I should do some nice stuff back. All right. Here's the thing. I think your self-esteem is getting better. This is the Forge. This is where strength is created. And so I think your self-esteem has improved. you notice that this person isn't really acknowledging or appreciating what you're bringing to the table, but you're not letting that actually impact who you know you are. Or maybe the advice is not to let that impact that. And then the last bit of advice is the Seeker of Boons in reverse, which basically says it's time to like go out into the broader world to look for this reciprocal energy. I think what this is saying is wherever you're trying and hoping to get reciprocal energy from, that's not happening. It's time to look for other ways to get your reciprocal energy out in the world. You know what you mean? I mean, you know what I mean? You know what spirit means? Ba-ba-do-do-do-do. So that's going to be Eagle. I'm just going to leave those cards down until I hear if she understands. Andrew, you're going to be up next. We're going to talk about this manifesting thing, buddy. You're quite welcome. Were you wondering about that? Like earlier today or yesterday? Recently? Let's say recently. Okay, Andrew. Okay, that's what I was just going to ask. I think you might be a little psychic. I love it. I love it. If you think I'm accurate here, man, book a private reading. Let me spend half an hour. I'll knock your socks off. Knock your socks off. All right. So, Andrew, let's talk about this manifesting thing. So, are you asking if it's really going to happen? Is not helping your manifestation. Did you ever tell me what you're manifesting? Let's see here. I don't think you did. No, you never did. Okay. So I don't want to ask exactly that question, but let's ask if you stay focused on your manifestation, how long it's going to take before you start seeing evidence that it's on its way in. Okay. So the thing about when we start manifesting something is we usually get little hints before we get the full thing. So say that you've decided you want to manifest $1 billion by the end of this month. Let's say by February, just for kicks and giggles. That gives me a little bit more time to put some hints in there. And say that you want to manifest this, you're kind of open to how this money comes in. Like it doesn't really matter to you how the money comes in as long as it's, legal and joyful. Why not? And let's say that you want this money to start a business. Okay? That's new beginnings. That's awesome. So if you're using this money for new beginnings, that's a good sign. Or it could be a good sign about something else too. Like you're in a snow whiteout? Describe whiteout. Let's see. Right now we're in 2026, which is a year of new beginnings. Last year we were tying up loose ends. So I'm not sure if that has to do with your manifestation or if it just has to do with the idea that new things are beginning for you. So, like I said, say you want $1 billion by the end of February. You may have something that shows up. Maybe you have an investor that shows up out of the blue that you're just casually talking to them while you're hanging out in the waiting room at Firestone getting your tires changed or something. And you're talking about what you do. And they say, you know what, actually, I've been looking, say you do rental property. And so you're talking about what you do, and you say, you're actually looking for investors right now, but you've got this great property that you have an inside track on and that you would like to get once you get the money lined up. and then this person just says, you know what, I've been looking for somewhere to put my money into an investment, and I really believe in real estate. You seem like you know what you're talking about. Let me just give you this money. And so maybe they give you, maybe they don't give you a billion. Maybe they give you, mm, let's say, maybe they give you 500,000, half of a million. That's a hint. That's spirit saying, oh, your billion is coming in. It's on its way. It's starting to manifest. So that's what I mean when I say that when we're manifesting, there's little hints that come in that lead up to things that tell us we're getting closer, we're getting closer, we're getting closer. And the more we can get excited about those little hints, then the faster things start to snowball and come in for us. Fluorescent bright white light, almost blinding. Okay, so yeah, those types of encounters are definitely encouraging. For me, fluorescent bright white light talks about sacred spirit being near, and he's just so bright we can't really look at him, but that's his light. For me, that's what that would talk about. Let's see. So the amount that Andrew is trying to manifest, when will he start to see those hints that let him know that that's getting close? Will that start happening by the end of this month? Ooh, look at that sun shining through. Let's see about by the end of next month. Yeah, okay. We have some stuff going on here. Here's the thing. I think you have like a really nice hint by the end of this month with the sun, the way that's shining through. And that's nice because we're already, what, the 22nd? So that's what, 8, 9 more days. Not bad. Now, when I look at next month, you've got two really awesome cards here. And this talks about my seeker of challenges is my air sign, and air signs are really good with money, with making a plan, with setting a budget, with following through on it. So I'm taking this as a really good card for this context. All right. So here, I think you've got a couple more things coming in. You've got enough coming in that now you're having to figure out, okay, how do I want to, what do I want to do with this? Like basically setting the budget so that you don't blow what's showing up while you wait for the bigger amount to come in. Okay. And then here's the thing that I want to warn you about. The temptation by the end of February is going to be for you to stop focusing on the manifestation because you will have had enough hints come in that you're just going to be like, yep, I can relax now. I don't have to focus on this manifestation like I was before. So we see you not working on it anymore with this card and getting distracted, going off and playing with friends. Okay. This is time with friends here. So this is basically saying that you're letting the things that you're doing with your friendship distract you. Now, it's great to spend time with friends, but you also want to be cognizant that you still are spending the time that you're spending now manifesting. You don't want to give that up to spend time with friends because then you lose some of your momentum. And we don't want you to lose some of your momentum because then you're going to say, oh, this manifesting thing doesn't work. When it does, but you just got to stay on track with it. All right. And honestly, that's what a lot of people do. I mean, once we get comfortable with whatever we have manifested so far, then we kind of just relax for a while. And then we go, oh shit, I'm not comfortable anymore. I better get back on my manifesting game. Experience speaking, but it's kind of the natural human tendency. So you just want to kind of be aware of that and not let it throw you. And then, of course, if you want more specific advice or if you want other answers, I do private readings. That's my thing. I don't do a lot of those little extended readings where people pay to see what the extended says. I like to do private readings where we can really get into your personal nitty gritty and get some good solid answers to empower whoever's across the table from me, or in this case, across the camera from me. But I do a lot of long distance readings too. That's mostly what I do. Okay. Oh, excuse me. On to Sarah. Sarah, are you still in the room, my friend? Excellent. I'll be looking forward to it. Okay, so Sarah, message from Spirit. All right. Oh, don't forget, Andrew, sign up for my newsletter because during your birthday season, you get a 40% discount on your readings with me. I don't know what sign you are and when your birthday season is, but it's worth it. I'm the queen of good deals. I try to give something that's worth it. Okay, so Sarah's wanted a message. What is your message for Sarah today? What would you like to talk to her about? Now remember, this could be past, present, or future. I don't know. I'm going to talk about it as if it's present because the cards are in front of me right now. Taurus. Oh, that's my rising sign. Gotcha. All right, so a few months and you'll qualify for the discounted rate. I would bet you probably want to get a reading before your birthday season, though, but you still want to take advantage of your birthday season later. Still sign up. Okay, Sarah. Also, by the way, Andrew, another special I have is if you want to buy a reading as a gift for somebody, you get a 50% discount. And so if you have a friend and you guys both want a reading, then I'm totally fine with you buy a gift for that person and they buy a gift for you. I'm totally fine with that. And then you both get a 50% discount. Your Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Shh, boy. No wonder you're manifesting finances. La da 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 da. Okay, Sarah. Sarah. Okay, first card down. Waver of Boons. Isn't she pretty? I don't know how clear you guys can see her. She's not as clear on my camera as I wish she was. Then we have the Ace of Visions in reverse. That's the reflection here. This is the real swan on the bottom. Let's see what your best advice or heads up shows up as. Boop-a-da-doo, boop-a-da-doo. Sarah. Oh, we got Moonlight in reverse. Earlier we had Starlight in reverse. That was part of our manifestation advice. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so Weaver of Boons, an Ace of Visions. Sarah, I'm going to say this card really feels like you to me. So I don't know if you have Earth strong in your chart or if I'm just looking at a part of your personality that's really coming to the surface lately. But either way, when we've got the Weaver of Boons, that would be kind of like the Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who is very aware of their tangible circumstances, everything from knowing how much money is in the bank to paying attention to, does this shark kind of feel itchy? Is the tag kind of bugging me? You know, how comfortable are these shoes? How pretty are those flowers? All the tangible things, when you've got Earth strong in your chart, they're all important to you. You notice those things. Now, the other thing about the Queen of Boons that is really nice is that she's very secure. And I mean that in both senses of the word. Usually she has plenty of resources, but also she's laid back. She's not anxious. You know, people can't just push her buttons really easily. You know, she's pretty laid back. And so I really like seeing that coming up here. But this is really keying me into the idea that we're not talking about a person around you, we're talking about you and part of how you have been um, presenting yourself in this experience, at least lately, if not always. Now, with this Ace of Visions showing up in reverse, this basically says that there's somebody that's in your sphere of influence that has shown you their true colors. And when they showed you their true colors, your opinion of them probably went down a few notches. I think you were surprised to see that these were their true colors. Okay? So that's your situation that Spirit wants to talk about here. Now, let's look at best advice or heads up. This is really interesting that we're starting off with this Moonlight card, because the Moonlight card, I guess I don't have to do that. You can see it better on the table. The Moonlight card talks about the idea of the truth coming out. So it's really fascinating to me that this is the first card out when we just saw somebody has shown their true colors. Okay? So the truth has come out. And when we have the Moonlight card come up like this, you did not have to dig for this truth, okay? This truth just kind of floated to the surface for you to examine it without you having to do any digging whatsoever. Sometimes a little kid just pops off with something and you're like, oh, interesting. And sometimes, information just kind of pops out. And so that's what this is. This just says that it does talk about information coming to the surface. I think when you saw this person's true colors, I think it just popped out. I mean, I don't feel like this was anything that they were any information they were trying to suppress. I just think you just hadn't seen them in a situation like this before. Sometimes this thing will talk about a cycle that you're going through. If this could be a few people in your life, Spirit can sometimes talk about a cycle that you're going through to kind of help you get some insight so that you can, take the knowledge away from it that you need to move forward so that you can get out of that cycle. So I don't know if that's what this is. You'll be the one that can tell if that's a cycle or not, but I'm kind of suspicious of that when you say it could be a few people. Now, waiver of challenges. Here's your advice. Spirit is, even though you're very generous and you're laid back normally, Spirit is calling on you to be logical about whatever this information is that came up. And when Spirit's calling on us to be logical, this just means, we shouldn't be cutting people slack that they probably don't really deserve anyway. And so this is saying, look at this logically. It's really important to look at this logically and not let emotions taint your view of this or put you in a place where you're sweeping some red flags under the rug. It's really important to look at this squarely, actually, the way that it is and what the implications of that are for your life in a very logical, almost like a clinical, sort of a detached type of way. Because whatever this information is that came up, it's important. And it's probably, especially with this card, it's probably shifting your ideas about how much you want to interact with this situation. Well, if you feel like you're the only person that's seeing it logical, you may be being gaslit. Because Spirit's saying to see it logical and to handle it appropriately. My Queen of Swords, the Weaver of Challenges is the Queen of Swords in any other deck. So the Queen of Swords is somebody who's seen some frickin' tragedy, literally. And because she's lived through tragedy, she can see BS walking like 10 miles away. She knows that stuff. And normally you'll see the Queen of Swords with a big sword in her hand. because she cuts out the BS before it gets close enough to her to actually have an impact. She's very cold and clinical about it. It doesn't make sense to let somebody come in and mess up her mojo. All right? You can see all these roses with the thorns. You know, she appreciates the beauty, but she's experienced the thorns. And now she's got this hedge of thorns around her to kind of keep her safe. So I mean, you almost have to be cold and clinical when you're in this mindset. Yep. Hello there, LP. Glad to see you back in the room, honey. Now, last bit of advice here, the Hermit, but the Hermit's showing up in reverse. Okay? So there's a lot of advice on this one card because the Hermit in reverse, you don't get to the Hermit in reverse without being the Hermit right side up first. Okay? So the Hermit in reverse showing up as advice is basically like two cards showing up. It's like the Hermit in right side up and then the Hermit in reverse. Because before the Hermit can be in reverse, he has to do the right side up. So this is saying about being logical. Whenever you're looking at this and you're being logical about it, spend some time alone. Allow yourself to get some perspective without people yammering in your ear about this situation so that you can really look at it from an objective point of view without getting that tainted. And while you're alone and you're getting some objectivity about this, also think about, what do you want from these situations? What are you getting from these situations? What are you willing to tolerate in these situations? And to get what you actually want out of these situations, what are you willing to do? That's all Hermit. Hermit is sorting out priorities and figuring out a game plan. Okay? So, and he's doing it without people yammering at him. He's doing it alone. He's reclusing. He's a hermit. He's hermiting. Now, when he comes up in reverse, this says after you've taken the time to be a recluse for a minute, or a day, or half a day, or a weekend, or whatever, this now talks about coming back out and interacting with people, but coming back out of that recluse time with your new priorities set so that now you can move forward towards what you really want. Whether those priorities are get rid of the person who showed their true colors, whether the priority is we need to have a talk so we can see if this can be made better, whether that priority is go out into the world and find other people to hang out with that are not showing these true colors. Whatever is that priority, it's important that you take the time to sort out for yourself, what do you really want? And then go for it. Okay? Take some time by yourself. Because with Spirit having this card saying be logical plus that Hermit card, I'm not surprised that you know what you need to do. But it looks like it's going to take you being by yourself and really getting some perspective, objective perspective, to help you take that step that you need. And trust me, I've been around the block a few times. I have swept my fair share of red flags under the carpet. And I'm here to tell you the price that you pay when you do that is always much bigger than what you think it's going to be. And Spirit's basically giving you the warning, like, don't do that. So I would say do whatever it takes to get yourself in a mindset and a perspective that you can take the steps that you know you need to. Okay, so here, let's talk, Sarah. Maybe you can't right now, but you can work up to that. Here's the thing about being with a narcissist. Whether they're someone you work for, whether they're a partner, whatever, the longer you're around that person, the more they gaslight you, the more they make you think you're crazy, the more they work down your self-esteem. And the more they do that, the harder it is to get away from them. So as soon as you realize you need to get away from them, the best thing you can do is take action fast, do it cold turkey, even if it hurts. And I know it's not easy because I've been in one of those relationships before. And I broke up with that guy probably 20,000 times, at least 50, before I finally let it stick. And it was hard to let it stick. But the thing is, the more you're with them, the more they wear you down. And then the more they wear you down, the less valuable you are to them. That's just the nature of the game. Daughter and wife. Yeah. So that's especially tricky because when you grow up with a narcissist in your sphere of influence right there in that family of origin, you grow up thinking that's kind of normal, and you also grow up accepting a lot less than somebody who grows up with an actual supportive set of parents. And so it's easy to get into those marriages or even those relationships with people who you're going to have to jump through hoops for all the time anyway because you see that as normal. So, really important to take the step before it becomes too late. Well, you're probably more than a people pleaser at this point. If you're apologizing for other people's shit, that's more than a people pleaser. That's emotional abuse when somebody makes you apologize for your own feelings or for how they feel about you. The fact that you guys have young children makes it even that much more important to get away from him because otherwise, what influence is he going to have on them? What kind of self-esteem are they going to grow up with? I know that the idea of having young children makes it harder, but it also makes it that much more important. You know what I mean? Exactly. And kids that grow up around somebody who is narcissistic generally go either one of two ways. They either model after the narcissistic person or they model after the empath who just puts up with all the narcissistic abuse. And they get together with somebody who will treat them just as bad or worse than the parent who was narcissistic. So where you're with somebody who's treating you like your mom did, if you stay in that situation, your kids are going to fall into the same trap or they're going to grow up to be adult narcissists themselves. Amina. Hello, hello. And Amina's advice is good because just like on the airplane, If you ride an airplane, the stewardesses at the beginning of the flight go through all the safety precautions. And one of the things they say is if you're flying with little kids, put your own oxygen mask on first, then put on theirs. Because if you lose oxygen and you're the caretaker, that little kid, even though they've got oxygen, is not really getting a lot of help. So, same thing here. You have to do what it takes to take care of you so that you can then turn around and help them. Okay, so we spent a lot of time on that message. Isn't it funny what comes up? Spirit knows exactly what we need to hear. Next up is Chandni. Yep, kids are a driving force. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to have to fill up my water glass, otherwise we're going to have trouble. So give me just a couple of seconds and I'll come back. And Chandni, meanwhile, tell me if you're still in the room or not, and we'll hit your message. We have to look for your best advice regarding interacting with Akshi. Yes, okay. That happens a lot, Chandni. All right, let me grab some water. And thank you for letting me know that you're here. All right, so best advice for Chandni when it comes to interacting with Akshay moving forward. Akshay, moving forward. What's your best advice for her? Guys, don't forget, if you have not already, you want to go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. If you're signed up and you're receiving my newsletter, then when your birthday season comes around for whatever your sun sign is, then you get a 40% discount on readings as my birthday gift to you at that point. But also check out my website. Check out all the stuff I do. I do a lot of different stuff. I do mentoring, I do readings, I do Reiki, and I do most of it long distance because most of my clients come from YouTube. Chanika, best advice on interactions with Akshay moving forward. Excuse me. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos and hit the notification bell so that you will know whenever I go live or whenever I upload something. All right. So let's take a peek here. Oh, honey. Chandy, do you have any kids? Okay. All right. Amina has a question. Mike's feelings or thoughts. Towards her. Excuse me. All right. Okay. So here's your best advice. You have the Weaver of Boons coming up in reverse. Now, this is a very generous queen. And when she comes up in reverse, she means something very specific to me. She means that when it comes to actually, you have been very generous. You've probably given him chance after chance. You know, you've just been very generous with yourself, with your energy, with your effort. When this is in reverse, this says that it's time to recognize that being generous to this person is not improving anything. Like you would be generous to someone hoping that that's going to help improve either your relationship or their standing in life or something. But it's time to recognize that being generous to this person is not helping anything, really, honestly, at all. And then with the Ace of Visions, this is it's time for you to start exploring loving yourself. Taking some time to really start appreciating who you are and what you have to offer and the special uniqueness that you were created with, and start really appreciating that. And then we have the Child of Spells. This talks about, it tells me a few things. First of all, I think you've been so wrapped up in being there for other people for so long, not just this guy Akshay, but for a long time, that you don't even know what you like. Like if somebody was to say, if nobody else wanted anything from you, what would you like to do this afternoon? Like you would not even know. Okay. Yep. Oh, I'm so sorry about the miscarriages. So it is more than anybody could give. This is saying it's time for you to start exploring, what do you like? It's time for you to get out there and do some things just to see, do I like these? Even to think back to your childhood. What did you like doing when you were a child? What kinds of things were you into? Did you think it would be cool to be a cake decorator? Or do you like going hiking? Or do you like going out in the canoe? Do you like skiing? What do you like to do? Do you like to play cards with your friends? What do you like to do? If it's just left up to you and nobody else is setting the agenda, what do you like to do? And that's a part of learning how to love yourself. I mean, you kind of have to figure out who yourself is before you can love yourself. What do you like? So cutting off any generosity to him, you've given him way too much generosity. It's not helping. Be done. Time to start focusing on you, loving yourself, and figuring out what it is that you love to do. Yep. I can totally understand that. I'm sorry for your loss. I wasn't married, but my significant other passed away October 29th of 2011. So I understand that that is difficult. And especially if you had a good marriage with him. What I've noticed in my practice is that people that have really good marriages, they are the most susceptible to being lonely. And they're also the most rose-colored glasses people that there are, because they think that relationships are just what their relationship was. Was that really good? And so then they get into these other relationships maybe too fast because they're just lonely when they lose the other person. And then they realize, oh my God, this is definitely not the kind of relationship I'm used to. And it can be actually kind of hellish. Thank you. I consider myself very lucky. First of all, it's been a long time ago. Of course, I still think of him, but it's been long enough I can look back. And most times I can look back at our memories and I can laugh, or at the very least smile. At first, it wasn't like that. The first 2, 3 years, it was not like that. It took a long time, but I'm lucky I'm on the other end of grief where I can look back and and see the good and appreciate that I had some wonderful time with him. And you'll get there too. Okay, so Maria wants to know, when will she see David J? Mm-hmm. With that Queen of Pentacles in reverse, no, you're done. You're done trying to give him chances. No. Now it's time to focus on you. Time to focus on you and finding the things you like. And you can't do that while you're trying to run around in circles and take care of him. That Queen of Pentacles in reverse, you're done with that. And you kind of have to be, just as a mental health issue. All right. Maria, are you still in the room? Absolutely, I get it. All right, glad you're here. David J is kind of an analytical kind of guy, isn't he? If I'm reading this right, he would be pretty analytical and very logical about how he handles things. Am I reading that correctly? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, I did not ask your question first because I hate to make presumptions that something's going to happen and then just go in and look for timing, just assuming it's going to happen. That's one good way for a reader to bite herself in the booty. So I try to avoid that. So what I put cards down on is actually, are you going to see him again first? And then I was going to see when, but I just wanted to confirm that I wasn't going on a wild goose chase there. Here's what came up on these cards. This guy knows his mission or his purpose. He knows what he wants to accomplish. He's very good at making a plan and sticking with it. He's very logical about things. He doesn't think with his heart. He thinks with his head. He only does things that make sense. Here we have the wheel showing up in reverse. This says that with what he wants to accomplish and how he's viewing this logically, maybe you guys met at the wrong time or whatever, but he's not seeing you guys as a good fit for each other. All right. Now we're shifting gears on these last two cards. This card is telling me that you're really stressed out over this whole situation with him. This is a lot of stress. And you're kind of thinking in circles about this. The way that this card comes up, it's like when we're stuck mentally, we're just stuck thinking in circles. It's almost like our gears are grinding. We really can't move forward. We can't move backwards because we can't figure out what side of the fence we want to come down on with something. And so this could very easily be a card that says, hey, I haven't got any closure. I don't know what's going on because there's no closure. And so are we done? Are we not done? What is going on here? And it's it's a constant stress. It's like always on your mind, even if you're trying to do other things. And it takes its toll on you. Okay. So here we see you turning into the seeker of spells, which is totally different energy than this. You can just tell from looking at it. This basically says that you're going to blossom. You're going to blossom like this little magic flower that looks really fragile, but is really durable and can endure all kinds of things. And so I don't think you're actually going to hear from him. There's a couple reasons I don't think that, because of what's in the cards here. If I just look at just glancing at the cards, but then when I look at these meanings, I see why. He's not feeling like you guys are well matched, or that this maybe was the wrong time to meet. But he's not seeing this as an ideal situation. Let's say that. You're totally stressed out about it. But whenever you can allow yourself to not be stressed out about it, that's when you're really going to bloom. And I know that's not what you want to hear at all. Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked me the question that you asked me. But I happen to believe that it's the truth that actually makes us free. It's the truth that allows us to make good decisions moving forward. And so I believe that I do somebody injustice if I try to candy coat things or tell them things that are not true. So never in my room will you see me twisting things around on these cards and doing cartwheels and bending over backwards to make them say something that they're not telling me. Because that's not very empowering. If I just tell you just some load of bullshit, then you can't make good, solid decisions moving forward. So I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's what I see on the cards. Okay, next we're looking at Amina. Now, Amina, you have a very interesting question. I'm really glad that you appreciate it. Some people just want to hear what they want to hear, you know what I mean? But you're getting a good flavor of me. If you like my flavor, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can catch me next time I go live, or that I do an upload, either way. Mostly I've been going live lately. Also, guys, don't forget, sign up for my newsletter so you can get my predictions every week. Those come out Sunday nights at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, because I'm in a suburb of Denver, so I'm on Mountain Time. Blah da 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 da, blah da 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 da. Okay, Amina, are you still in the room, Miss Amina? I like your name because it's almost like mine. Starts with an A, ends with an A. Second letter is M. Third letter is I. Almost just like mine. Almost. I'm starting to think Amina got tired of waiting, which is sad because she had to wait the least of anybody. Oh, Amina, Amina, are you in the room? Oh, Amina, Amina, do you still want cards? Oh, Amina, Amina, where did you go? Okay, well, I think she's had time to answer me now, and she's not answering me, so I think I've read for everybody in the room. Looks to me like it's time to get out of here, get some rest, and get ready to start the day tomorrow. Everybody have a fantastic evening. Sleep well, and I'll see you guys back here the next time. Bye.